So the topic is measurement of systematic risk. So systematic risk is the variation in the returns expected by the investor, which may change because of changes in economy and market situation. So the basic reason why systematic risk arise in the market is because of what is happening in the economy, because of economic changes, right? Because of economic changes. So, how a new piece of information is hitting the market regarding the whole economy and how investors are basically reacting to that piece of information. All the securities will get affected by change in the market situation, but few securities may be too prone to a particular piece of information. So, as we have discussed that whatever information is coming to the market, it is going to affect all the securities, all the companies, all the industries. But it is not necessary that each and every company will behave in a certain way. Maybe there are certain companies which may behave too much, which may react too much, but there may be certain companies which may not react that much. There is a difference. Okay. So in certain cases, the reaction can be too much, but in certain cases, the reaction may not be that much. So it depends completely on the set of investors who are investing in those companies, right? So all the securities get affected, but few get more affected and few get less affected. So usually it is a trend in the market that large cap companies get affected by a negative piece of information to a larger extent, but small cap companies do not get affected up to that extent, because these securities, the small cap securities, are not that overpriced. That is one of the reasons. So here, small cap and mid cap stocks may not be that affected because usually they are less overpriced and correctly priced. So this situation clarifies that investors who invest in small cap stocks are the ones who want to earn profit in the form of dividends and capital appreciation over a period of time. So from this situation we can really understand that the people who are investing in small cap companies, they're not willing to take that much of risk. They want to earn something out of stock market by investing in a stock, but they are not willing to take too much of risk, so they can wait for a good return over a period of time in the form of dividend or in the form of capital appreciation. Right. So, but those who invest in large cap stocks are the ones who prefer to earn more profit and they want returns very quickly. So, they focus more on capital appreciation. They want their returns to they want to earn returns very, very soon so that they can, really earn something out of the market on very quick note. But obviously if somebody wants to earn something very fast, they have to bear more risk. So this is the fundamental behind higher the risk, higher the probability of return. But we can also infer from the situation these large cap stocks are the benchmarks in the market. So any fall in the prices of these stocks may result in fall of small and mid cap stocks. But point is these large cap stocks actually represent the market. So if there is any change in the prices of these large cap stocks, these small cap and mid cap stocks also get affected because they are looking up to them. So if there is somebody who is a market leader and the performance of market leader is really distorting, then obviously the small players in the market, they will also feel the investors who are investing in small cap and mid cap, they also feel insecure. So this is one of the reason. If the small cap stocks are not performing well, then other set of stocks like mid cap or small cap, there will also be a kind of panic among the investors of small cap and mid cap stocks. So these market leaders are the benchmark stocks can be decided on the basis of personal judgment of investor. Obviously, we as an investor decide that who is a market leader based upon their performance. So for example, an investor who is willing to invest in auto sector, he would choose the best performing company in the auto sector, or he can also choose the auto index as well. So you can also invest in index. So we'll discuss what is investing in an index, that we'll discuss later on, but today we will only discuss about companies. So it completely depends on investor's choice whether he wants to invest in the large cap, small cap, or mid cap stocks. But the basic difference, he must understand that large cap stocks are more risky. Obviously, they will give you good return, but they are more risky as well. So the systematic risk can be calculated with the help of statistical measure called beta. So for unsystematic risk, we see we calculate standard deviation. But in case of systematic risk, we go for beta. The term which we use to calculate risk for systematic risk is called beta. There are two methods to calculate beta: regression method and correlation method, that we'll discuss. The security may have a positive, negative, or zero value of beta. So there are three values of beta which we calculate when we calculate beta. First is there is a positive, there is a negative, or zero value of beta. So what is beta? The beta of a security is a measure to understand the variability of security in relation to the market as a whole. So what is the meaning of beta? So basically, for example, here, if there is a class test, for example, so we see how much marks has the topper, secured. We see that how the topper of the class has performed. If even the topper has not performed well, we assume that the test is very difficult, even that student is not able to secure good marks, right? So similar things happen in stock market. So if anything worse is happening in the market, any good or bad, whatever is happening in the market, we try to understand the performance of the market leader, how the market leader is performing. Is he performing well, or is that stock performing well or not? It completely, it depends on the performance of the market leader as well, right? So in case the market leader is not able to perform well due to any piece or anything has happened in the market, we assume that rest of the stocks will also not be able to perform well, right? So here we have to choose one market leader, right? So that who is the market leader, this completely depends on investors perception. For example, you are investing in a auto stock, a stock which belongs to auto sector, right? So now how you can pick any company out of that whole auto sector which you assume to be a market leader, right? It is completely your choice how which company you want to choose as market leader. So you will pick that one company which is going to be the market leader, and you will try to understand the performance of rest of the companies on the basis of that particular market leader. So there are different values which may come of beta, though that value can be greater than 1. As you can see here, beta can be greater than 1, beta can be less than 1, or beta can be equal to 1. We have three situations with us: beta greater than 1, beta less than 1, and beta equal to 1. If beta is greater than 1, it means the stock which the investor is holding is carrying higher risk in the market. It means your stock is more risky than the market leader, right? So obviously, if your stock is having more risk than the market leader, the return would also be higher than the market leader, right? In case if beta of the stock is greater than 1, it means your stock is carrying more risk than the market. And if your stock is carrying more risk than the market, it means your stock should also give you greater return than the market. Second case is if the beta's value is less than 1, it means your stock's risk is less than the market. So if your risk is less than the market, obviously you will earn less return than the market leader. Third case is if beta is equal to 1. If beta is equal to 1, it means your risk and market's risk is same. same risk you are bearing. So whatever market is earning, that market leader is earning, your stock will also earn same return. So we have three cases for beta: beta greater than 1, beta less than 1, and beta equal to 1. So, here beta greater than 1, it means more risk. If beta less than 1, it means lesser risk. And if beta is equal to 1, it means your risk and market's risk is same. So here we will understand that if beta is negative, it means your security is working in the opposite direction of the market. So if beta is negative, it means if market will go up, your stock will go down. There is inverse relationship, right? So these are few situations we have, and let us understand this graph. We'll understand. Let's first understand what is regression, like the first method of regression by which we calculate beta. So the first method to calculate beta is regression method, which we are going to discuss. In regression method, there are two variables. So we have two variables. First is independent variable and the second one is dependent variable. For any regression equation, we have two variables, independent and dependent variable. For example, here let's understand with the help of an example. There are two stocks. For example, you want to invest in NTPC stock, right? This is your stock where you want to invest. And the market leader is, for example, Nifty 50. So Nifty 50 is the composition of best 50 companies in the market right now. So how the best 50 companies performing? On the basis of those best 50 companies, I am trying to predict the return of NTPC where I want to invest, right? So the market leader which I have chosen in this example is Nifty 50, and the company where I want to invest is NTPC. So here Nifty 50 is your independent variable, and on the basis of Nifty 50 I am predicting the return of NTPC. So here NTPC is my dependent variable, right? So in regression there are two variables always. So there can be n number of independent variables. You can add more independent variables in your equation, but right now I'm just adding one independent variable. But maybe the performance of NTPC depends on n number of factors, right? But today I'm choosing just one factor, that is Nifty 50's return. So in the present case, Nifty 50's returns are the is the independent variable, and dependent variable is NTPC's return. So dependent variable is the stock for which you want to predict the risk and return, and independent variable is on the basis of which you want to predict your stock's performance, right? So the regression equation we have with us is Ri equals to alpha plus beta x, right? So here Ri is the return of the stock in which the investor want to invest, where you have invested. So here Ri is NTPC. So I want to invest in NTPC. So Ri is the dependent variable. I'll just write it here. This is dependent variable. This is your dependent variable. And in present case, for example, it is NTPC. So this alpha and this beta, these are two coefficients which we will calculate. I'll just make you understand what is alpha and beta here also. So let's first understand what is xi. Xi is your independent variable. This is your independent variable, and in present case it is Nifty 50. So this is your independent variable and NTPC is your dependent variable. So when you calculate NTPC's performance on the basis of Nifty 50, you get two variables with you. First is alpha and second is beta, right? So alpha is also called your inception point. So what is inception point? For example, there is no independent variable, right? You don't know anything about any independent variable. Then also NTPC would have performed something, right? Even if you don't know any of the independent variable, then also your dependent variable, your stock where you want to invest, must have performed something. So that point with which NTPC will start performing is called your interception point. Inception point, you call it, right? So second is beta. Beta basically tells you the relationship between independent variable and dependent variable. It can be positive, it can be negative. So if there is positive, the value is positive, it means there is direct relationship between independent variable and dependent variable. But if there is a negative value, it means indirect relationship. If one variable will go up, other variable will go down. So there is inverse relationship. So with the value positive and negative value of beta, we try to understand that what is the value, what is the performance of dependent variable. So there is a formula which we apply for beta. This is the formula. This we'll understand later on. But right now we have discussed what is Ri, that is dependent variable, Xi, that is independent variable, alpha is the inception point, and beta is the relationship between independent and dependent variable. It can be positive, it can be negative. And this value we have also discussed here. If beta is greater than 1, it means your stock's return is more than the independent variable. It means your stock is more risky. And if your stock is more risky, there is if your stock is more risky, the return should also be higher. And if beta is less than 1, it means your stock is carrying lesser risk. It means the return would also be less than the market leader. But if beta is equal to 1, then it means your risk and market leader's risk is same and the return should also be same. So now let us try to understand with the help of these graphs. We have 3 graphs with us. So first is if beta is greater than 1, this graph. So here you can see that x variable, x-axis, on x-axis we have market return and on y-axis we have stock return. So always remember that this x is always independent variable and y is always dependent variable. Do not interchange the values of x and y. X would always be independent variable and y would always be dependent variable, right? So here you see this line is going like this. Here you can see it is not a flat line, it is going upward, right? So if the market return is here, right, if the market return is here, your stock's return is much higher because the risk is higher, because beta is greater than 1. So if beta is greater than 1, it means your return, this is my return, stock's return is greater than market return. This is the first case when beta is greater than 1. Second case is when beta is less than 1. If beta is less than 1, this line would become a bit flatter. It is coming down, as you can see in the graph. Here, for example, if beta is market return is here, your stock's return is less. It is here. So in case where beta is less than 1, your stock's performance will be less than market stock's performance, market leader's performance. This is beta is less than 1. But if when beta is equal to 1, it means market returns and your stock return would be same. So here you can see this and this would remain same. So these are 3 situations we have, which I have just shown you with the help of the example, with the help of a graph. So this is the formula to calculate beta. Let's first calculate beta. How do we calculate beta? So the formula is n. N stands for number of variables. Summation of xy minus summation of x into summation of y divided by n into summation of x square minus summation of x whole square. Then we will also calculate alpha, but first let's understand how to calculate beta. So, as I told you earlier, never interchange x and y. X would always be independent variable and y would always be dependent variable. So, do not interchange these values. So, now I have monthly returns of NTPC stock and Nifty 50, which is given to us for 12 months. 1 year's returns are given to us, monthly returns. For example, in the month of Jan, NTPC's return is minus 0.79. It means negative returns. Stock has suffered losses. And market Nifty 50, it is also in loss, minus 0.32. In the month of February, NTPC's returns are 5.82. It becomes minus 0.41. March minus 3.78, minus 1.27, then so on. For 12 months, these returns are given to us for NTPC and for Nifty 50. These are given to us. Now, what do I have to calculate? First, I have to calculate alpha and beta for NTPC stock. So, as I told you here, NTPC is your dependent variable and Nifty 50 is your independent variable, because on the basis of Nifty 50 I am going to predict the returns of NTPC. So dependent variable is NTPC, so dependent variable is always y and independent variable is x. Okay, so as per the formula, what all I have to calculate? I have to calculate xy, I have to calculate x square. These values I have to calculate. So xy, to calculate xy, it means minus 0.32 into minus 0.79, minus 0.41 into 5.82, minus 1.27 into minus 3.78. So this is how I have calculated x and y. So this has become 0.2528 minus 2.3862 and so on. So I have calculated all the values of x, y by multiplying this NTPC's returns with Nifty 50's returns. So the summation of xy I have obtained is 131.26. This value I have obtained. Now further I'll just look at the formula. I have to calculate x square also. So what is x square? This minus 0.3 into 32 into minus 0.32. It will become 0.1024. Then minus 0.41 into minus 0.41, 0.1681. Minus 1.27 into minus 1.27, 1.6129. And so on. So similarly, I have also calculated x square. And the summation of x square is 96.16. This I have calculated. Right. Now I have all the values: summation of y, summation of x, summation of xy and summation of x square. Now what I will do, I will put these values in the formula of beta. So this is the formula for beta. Now n is 12 because we have 12 observations. We have returns for last 12 months. So n is 12 into summation of xy is 131.26. This I have put, placed here. Then minus summation of x is 15.33, this, into summation of y 28.77. Divided by n again 12. This summation of x square is 96.16. This value I have placed here, 96.16. And this is summation of x whole square. It means this 28.77, summation of x is 15.33. This summation of x square. So summation of x is 15.33's whole square. Now I will just solve it. And once I will solve it, the value of beta which I have obtained here is 1.234, right? So here you can see that the value of beta is greater than 1. If the value of beta is greater than 1, here the value of beta is greater than 1, which means NTPC risk is greater than market risk. So obviously, if NTPC's risk is greater than market risk, then NTPC's return will also be greater than market return. That we'll also understand how to do that. But now we have to calculate the second part of the formula, that is alpha, the inception point. Now how do we calculate inception point? See, here we have the equation Ri equals to alpha plus beta x. So here what we can do is we can just put the values. I'll just put this formula here. So this is the formula. Now alpha I have to calculate, right? So from this formula only I will calculate alpha. We have alpha equals to this beta xi and this Ri will come to right hand side. So minus Ri. Now beta I have calculated 1.234, right? And now I have to calculate this xi and ri. So x is your independent variable. So independent variable is Nifty 50. So what I will do at the place of x, I can put the mean value. This 15.33 divided by 12. I will calculate mean, average I have calculated. So 15.33 divided by 12. It means mean value. So here you can see to calculate this value, what I have done here is, just a second. Okay, so I have made this correction. It should be Ri minus beta xi, not the earlier one which I have wrote. So Ri is your dependent variable. So this 28.77 at the place of Ri, I have to write mean of y. So 28.77 divided by 12, why 12? Because these are last 12 months returns. So 28.77 divided by 2 minus the value of beta. Beta's value is 1.234, which we have just calculated, 1.234. And mean of x I have to calculate. X is 15.33 divided by 12. So once you solve it, the alpha value is 0.89. So we have calculated both alpha and beta, right? Alpha is 0.89 and beta is 1.234. This we have calculated. Now question is how this alpha and beta value is going to help me. How these values are going to help me to understand the future value of the stock. Right. So let's understand. There is a second part in the formula. Suppose the Nifty 50 is expected to move up by 13%. For example, there is an expectation that Nifty 50's returns would increase by 13%. So what would be its impact on NTPC? It means if market is going up by 13%, what would be its impact on NTPC? So now again I will just put this formula. Ri equals to alpha plus beta x. Alpha I know 0.89. Beta I know I have calculated 1.234. Now market is increasing by 13%. So here I am writing 13. So 0.89 plus 1.234 into 13. So this is 16.04. So 0.89 plus 16.04. So NTPC's return would be 13.93. It means if market is increasing by 13%, NTPC would increase by 13.93. Why? The NTPC is having greater returns than in comparison to market, because risk is also higher. Market risk is always 1. Always remember that market risk is always 1. So If market risk is 1, if market risk is 1 and NTPC's risk is 1.234, it means greater than market risk, then market return is 13% and NTPC's return is 16.93, which is greater than market return.